This is the Audi Q6 e-tron. Now, Audi, you might know as one of the early electric car makers. They entered that market very early, and you might know them for having great technology. But in the Audi Q6, the story just gets better. For 2025, the Q6 e-tron has all new electric architecture. It's faster charging. It has a longer range. Inside, there's all new technology as well. And on the outside, you'll notice it is not a car that screams electric. In fact, you might mistake it for the Audi Q5 5-passenger SUV, and that's by design. They are intended to look pretty much just alike. But what the Audi Q5 doesn't do, at least not yet anyway, is this. So it actually has this customizable digital signature. You can customize the headlights. I'll show you what that looks like. You can customize a lot of things in the Audi Q6 e-tron, and you get to do it all in beautiful, luxurious silence. Before we hop inside though, let's talk about what this is. So it is Audi's new electric architecture. It is fast charging, so up to 80% in about 20 minutes. It has a 307-mile range on the Quattro version that we're driving. The rear-wheel drive version goes slightly further at about 320 miles. And ours has an incredible 422 horsepower. I'm going to put that to test too and show you what that feels like. I will say though, after driving this car all week, it drives good, it looks good, it feels good. It drives and feels exactly like an electric car should, and I'll take you on a test drive of that as well. Be sure to follow along on our social channels, subscribe to our YouTube. If you'd like our weekly newsletter in your inbox, there is a link in the comments below, and if you see a video pop up in the corner, we put it there because we think you're going to like it. Audi Q6 e-tron is notable for this wide front grille. It's not really a grille, it's more like a panel, but you will see the Audi logo right there, and then there's some lower intake and sensors there. And actually I'm not used to seeing myself there in the grille, but I can because it's a highly reflective surface, being that it's flat and mimics the Audi grille, but you can see it really isn't. Then we have these new running lights and headlights and daytime running lights, and then it's notable for these wide wheels. Look how wide set the wheels are on this car, and that really is a function of where the battery pack is. And you'll see this little black patch here. That is where the battery pack is underneath the cabin, and there embedded in this black strip is the e-tron name. You'll notice that there's a power door here, and it is just pressure sensitive, so all you do really is just touch it. On the passenger side, this is a level 2 power door. There is a level 3 on the driver's side. For charging at home, note that this is on the passenger side. And then to close it, you just give it a little pressure and it closes up very easily. On the rear, you'll notice that this is a very classic looking modern Audi. It has that light bar across the back. It has lower reflectors. And then what you don't see are tailpipes because this is an all-electric. Over on the driver's side is the level 3 charger. So if you're going to use level 3, you just pull this little door down. You can just charge with level 2 on this side as well. There is a cord release button here, so if you're struggling to get the cord out, you can tap this and it will unlock it. And then to close the door, you just tap this panel, give it a little bit of pressure, and it will close automatically. And I know you're going to ask about this, so I'm going to show you. Yes, there is a Frunk. You do have to access it with the release here on the inside of the cabin. That's a safety feature. We are seeing SUVs that are now allowing you to access from here, but this one has the access next to the driver's knees. And then, like any hood, it opens very easily. That's probably also a function of using the same body and a lot of the same function for the Audi Q5. In here, there is a sizable Frunk. I see the battery notification for the 12 volt. It looks like if you need to access the 12 volt, you can access it here. We have the batteries. I see that here as well. Windshield washer fluid over here. Kind of a small Frunk, but as Frunks go, it's pretty typical, and it's nice to have one because not all EVs do. This company is known for building electric cars. They were one of the early brands to come out with EVs, and it shows not only in the really nice powertrain that delivers 307 miles of range. That's what they say. That's not what I'm showing, but that's what they say, and I do believe it's possible, but really more in the drive experience. So the way the car handles on the road, and what you expect from an EV is a lower center of gravity and also quicker acceleration. So the lower center of gravity gives you just more grip on the road. You can hug those corners or those curves a little bit more tightly, and then better acceleration. And I'm going to show you And there's no scroll, there's no like wind up to hit your speed. You just tap the accelerator and this car goes. I have noticed in some of the EVs that I've driven lately, a little bit of a hesitation when you tap the accelerator. But here, no hesitation in acceleration whatsoever. You tap the accelerator and away you go. And it holds nicely in all the curves and corners, which is another really delightful aspect that you expect from a car like this. Now, pardon me while I just enjoy driving the Q6 e-tron on this beautiful road filled with lovely curves. All of the good stuff is on the interior of the Audi Q6 e-tron. Now notice that I hop in, key in hand, and it really comes to life. And that's because you don't have to actually start the start button. If you just walk away with the key, it powers off once you put it in park. Once you put it in park and you open the door, it powers off. I would say that's a little frustrating if you're like me. I try to play with the exterior lights and get those to light up. It doesn't work that well because it turns off when you leave the car with the key. But what that's going to do is keep the battery from running down. So let's talk about what you do get in the front seat here of the Audi Q6 e-tron. So this really beautiful 2-spoke steering wheel, and then behind it you'll see this large pane of glass, and this is where you'll find the new MMI. This is all new technology here, and a new driver's display here. There is a head-up display. I see that right ahead of me. I have really enjoyed that. It has augmented reality navigation. Now that's part of a tech package. I'm going to talk about that in a minute because the tech package is really the key to life in this car. To buy this car without it, I almost think maybe it's not worthwhile. But because it's that good. And then we have a lot of new function here. This is has Google built in. So what that means is it has Google Maps. It has a more sophisticated natural language voice assistance system. It's supposed to be able to answer whole questions and sentences rather than commands, which is very different than what we're used to. And I kind of like that. And then there's a passenger screen here. Now I'm not technically supposed to be able to see that when that's on. I can see it, you can see it, it's very clear. It also has this really beautiful satellite navigation type of graphics, and the graphics on their screens have always been really good. Now it's even better. One of the things that I do like about this is the passenger can actually set navigation and then send it over, find the Starbucks you want or find the route that you want, and then send it over to the driver. So it takes a lot of that stress off the driver. It gives the passenger their own screen before playing with this one. And it allows this screen to be a little more oriented towards the driver. You can probably see how it sort of curves out from the dashboard that way. So I really like that. What else do you get in the front seat? Well, leatherette on the dashboard and the doors and the seats here. There's a really beautiful piece of wood here that spans the entire dash, or it's on either side essentially. Our air vents are sort of integrated in here to the bottom of the dashboard. And then there's a nice large cubby here, which is great for your phone, but there's also a phone charge pad back there, and it's tucked into the back of this cubby so you don't see it from the driver's seat at all. There are 2 charge ports here, USB-C ports here. There is a cigarette adapter style outlet there, and then we have our radio dial, drive mode selector, traction control, cup holders, and then really just the gear selector and a couple of quick access buttons, one for driver assist features and one for the camera system. And the driver assist features, it's kind of funny, even though you push this and it gives you that whole driver assist menu, you do have to like tap the thing you want if you want to set it. But it's nice to know that that is right there, so you don't have to go through those screens if you want to turn something on or off really quickly. And then on the steering wheel, we do have, it's really essentially a 2-spoke steering wheel, but it almost has sort of a yoke look to it, the classic airplane yoke. On the left side over here is where you'll find the buttons to customize the driver display, and over here on the right side is where you'll find the entertainment settings and the heated steering wheel. Our climate panel is down here. It's a fixed bar, meaning you don't have to go through screens to find things. Your heated and cooled seats. You can turn on or off the fan. It's all right there. It's all very easy to access. You don't have to go through screens, but they have eliminated the buttons for climate control. There's a couple of other features in the front seat that I really like. One is right here. We have these very easy screen controls to control the screen over the panoramic sunroof. And then there's a button here that allows you to actually open or close the panoramic sunroof. And then we have the panoramic sunroof. On the multimedia system, there's a couple of things I'm going to show you. One is these two things are the key to life. So this is your overall menu, and then your apps. That's your home screen, and then your apps are here. And then there's some quick access buttons: navigation, phone, settings, your electric charging information, so you can fast charging if I want to search for a fast charger, charging location, so I can set my charging location or find a new one. Here's a quick access for Sirius XM. I love that they did that. And you can buy apps. So if you want to buy a game or buy something from the Google Store, you can do that as well. Then there are some buttons here that will show you what's active. And then down here, that's our this little AU. This is how I can set up my users, which I don't need to do. I'm going to go back to apps because I want to show you a couple of things. One is I'm going to go to settings, and this is one of the most important things in this entire car. And so you can go to displays and lights. So displays, this is where I can set my head-up display. This is where I can set the brightness of my virtual cockpit, of the multimedia screen. Then I want to go to lights, and I have the choice of interior lighting, and this is where I can change the color of my ambient light. So I'd had it set to red, but now I've set it to yellow. So you can see over here, it's yellow, but I don't like that. I like pink, so I'm going to put it right back over here on bright pink, and there you go. And now it's all bright pink. And say I really want this purple bar over here to be purple, well, then I can tap this, and this will allow me to set that top light as well. So if I want it to be all pink all the time, I can set it to be all pink all the time. Or maybe I can set it to be blue. Let's set it to be blue. And now I have pink and blue. So really nice, beautiful settings here for the ambient light. No matter what color you have your top light though, it's always going to go green to show you the turn signal. I want to go back to lights, exterior lighting. So this is a part of the digital package, but this allows you to change the pattern of your headlights. And so when you walk up with the key, and it's really prominent at night, it's less pronounced during the day, you will see this digital signature, and it shows up like this. And so you can pick whichever one you want and turn off the car and go flick the key and see these cool lights. Over here under your apps, there are vehicle settings here. So more, that's where we were. We can also, if you go to more, there's more things here. And under one of these is where you'll find your app for the digital assistant. This is where you can turn on or off the wake word, and you can also set it to just give voice commands without a wake word. So you don't even have to say the name of the car. And that's great because I can turn that off. And if I don't want to say, hey, Audi, if we really like to sit around and talk about Audi, I don't have to say, I can turn that off so it's not waking up every time. But then I can still say, navigate to Starbucks. And I can see there that it's listening.
I am looking for what I can find along the route.
And that's really nice. So I am going to turn the wake word back on here. And then you can also interrupt the voice prompts. So you can really have a conversation with the system. Lots of great function here. And this is a much more advanced system than we've seen in this car in the past. And we also have a nicely sized rear seat. Let's go check that out. The rear seat of the Audi Q6 is designed to be comfortable. This really essentially is the Q5, which we know is a comfortable 5-passenger SUV. This one is maybe a little bit more comfortable, and I'm going to talk about rear seat amenities, how we're going to fit car seats in here, and overall comfort for your rear seat passengers. So I'm going to start by saying, okay, I'm 5'8" and I have this seat set for me and I've got plenty of leg room. Can I cross my legs? Not comfortably, but I will sit back here very happily for any type of drive. There is the panoramic sunroof overhead, which gives you lots of light. There's a grab bar here. There's a light. We do have, our window controls and door locks here. There is a window screen. I love this for the dog. I think of this as the dog screen. I can lower the window, put the screen up, and then he gets wind on his face without putting his nose out the window, which I think is just safer for my dog at least. Rear seat passengers have air vents here. There are buttons here for heated seats, but there is not climate control, so they can really only angle the air or shut off those vents if they want to. And then hidden way down underneath here are 2 USB-C ports. This is really going to be comfortable for 2 passengers, but not so much for 3, and I'll tell you why. Even though it's a relatively flat floor, I cannot get my feet here in the space between the center console and this rear seat, which is fixed. It's not on a rail, so it doesn't slide forward and back, and I literally cannot get my feet in there. So I'm going to say I would not ask anyone to sit in this seat unless they're super tiny and maybe sitting in a booster seat or in a child passenger car seat. Now, let's talk about child passenger car seats, and that is there are 2 full sets of latches, so lower anchors and the rear tethers, and you should have plenty of space to fit both rear and forward-facing child passenger car seats. So here we have, let's see, I've got about 31 inches between this seat and this seat. So will a rear-facing child passenger car seat fit? Absolutely. You need about 29 inches, so you've got a little bit of leeway. If you do have a taller driver, you're probably going to want to put the rear-facing child seat on this side rather than behind the driver. Can you fit one in the middle? I think that you can, because what you really need to know is how much space do we have between our seat belts. So we have about 12 inches, maybe 11 inches between this seat belt and this one, so enough space to fit a child passenger car seat. And this is a nice wide center seat. Even though it's 12 inches here, it's actually seat to seat 15 inches, so, or 16 inches really. So there's plenty of space to add a booster seat or a child passenger car seat. And then with 31 inches there, and I've got 18 inches from the side of the outboard seat to this side of the seat. So we've got 18 to 20 inches there to install a child passenger car seat. Now, I am going to say these doors don't open super wide. This is about as wide as they go. So it's not a full 90-degree opening, and that means you are going to have to angle and finagle a little bit both to get the seat and the child into the rear seat of the Audi Q6 e-tron. And now let's talk about, once you do have passengers back here, there's this nice little fold down armrest. There are 2 cup holders in here. And if you need to, and this is how this works, add a little extra storage, say a pass-through for skis or a carpet that you picked up at Home Goods, ask me how I know about that, then you have this nice little pass-through. So if you do have kids in car seats on both sides, or you need those larger passenger seats and you need a little extra space, you do have this nice pass-through, which I have to say I do like. But if you need to put all the seats down or just use the cargo area, what does that look like? Well, let's go take a look. The cargo area in the Audi Q6 e-tron can be accessed via the key fob. Press it twice and hold it. If you don't hold it, it will stop opening. You can press the tab underneath the Audi badge, or if it's activated, you can kick your foot underneath the bumper for the motion activated lift gate. I found that on the owner's manual, but I can't seem to get it to activate. There must be something else I need to do. But I did want to show you this nice large open space. It actually is quite a large space, and then there's a tiny bit of storage, a little bit of storage underneath the cargo floor. It's really just for the charge cord. There is a subwoofer down here, and you don't really want to mess with that. If you want your sound to sound great, don't put a lot of stuff there or anything on top of it. But nice large space, and then we also have the seats that fold down to give you even more space. There are tabs here on either side that you can pull to lower these rear seats. In fact, I'll pull this one, and you can see there it goes. It just folds right down. And then there are buttons over here on the wall behind on the driver's side that allow you to raise or lower the height of the Audi Q6, which might make it a little bit easier for loading things in or getting your dog into the cargo area. It's not very much, it's only an inch or so, so I'm not sure it's really all that valuable, but it is clever nonetheless. So now let's talk about one pedal driving, and that is something that I'm going to give kudos to this car for. I'm not saying its name because it will ask me if it can help, but I'm going to give big props to this car for true one pedal driving. So I just came almost to a complete stop, and I would have if I needed to at that intersection after going over 60 miles an hour along that road, and that was true one pedal driving. And here's how you set one pedal driving in the Q6 e-tron. First, you're going to pop the gear selector down to B mode. You'll see B right here. You'll also see it down here on your driver display. Once you're in B mode, then you're going to pull the left paddle to max regeneration. And actually, you have to do that while you're in drive, and then you can put it in B mode. So you put it in drive, Then you pull this left paddle and you'll see these two little bars light up here in green, and then you put it down in B mode and B pops up in green, and you are in one pedal driving. And that's where you get, they call it max regeneration. And that means that, now look here, so there is a traffic light, it just turned red. And let's see if we can come to a full stop without touching the brake. Oh my God. Did not touch the brake, not once. I went from the speed limit, which is 55, to 0 without ever touching the brake. That is what one pedal driving is all about. I want you to know, for safety's sake, when I lift my foot off of the accelerator and the car starts to slow at more than a certain speed or more than a certain G level, the brake lights come on. So it is totally safe. It's not a fake out for the cars behind you. They can see that you are slowing, and it is great. So we were able to slow from 55 to 0 in a reasonable amount of time, but it was about the time I saw the light turn red. So it gave me plenty of time. I would say probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds, not very long. And I was able to go from 55 to 0 in that short period of time. I didn't think I would be able to do it. Honestly, I thought I was going to have to hit the brake, but I did not. And that's great. I have really enjoyed B mode and this regen braking mode throughout my test drive. Being able to tool around the parking lot, at the grocery store, to get where I'm going, in traffic, whatever I'm doing, and not have to weigh heavy on the brakes is great. Then when you get to you come to a full stop, you just lift your foot off the accelerator to stop, and then you can just put your foot flat on the floor and wait until the light changes or you need to move to tap the accelerator. The car will stay absolutely still until you tap the accelerator, which is another really nice detail that I do very much like about the Audi Q6 e-tron. I'll even show you this. We're going up a pretty big hill here, and there's not even a lot of hesitation. I definitely feel the weight of the car, but I don't feel any hesitation accelerating up a hill. Now, that's also gonna ding my range, so you probably don't wanna do that all the time, but it's nice to know that you can do it if you need it. The power in this car, 422 horsepower, is instant, and it's quite lovely. It's been a fantastic week test driving the Audi Q6 e-tron. Audi is one of the early adopters in the luxury electric space, and the e-tron takes that even further. It's been really great to try out all of the new systems, the new motors, everything that they've done differently. I'm not sure I really notice a big difference there in terms of the charging infrastructure. I know it's faster, and I know there are more miles on a charge now than we have seen in the past, over 300. So that's pretty great. What I will say is all the new technology inside the car is pretty spectacular. This car has a starting price of about $65,000 for the Quattro. Our model is tested at about $77,000, and that's because of a couple of packages, including the tech package, which really is the key to life in this car. It's all the great graphics, it's the digital headlights, it's all the ambient lighting. There's a lot of really cool features in that $7,000 technology package. And then there's another package, the climate package, that adds a few other things that you probably would want to have as well. Probably one of the nicest things about the Audi Q6 e-tron, though, is it does not scream electric car. It looks just like the Audi Q5. It looks like any beautiful, luxurious Audi SUV. And that gives you the choice. If you want electric, you can have it. If you want gas powered, you can have it. Either way, you still get that really beautiful, luxurious Audi SUV.